Bruce, you must have something really good too.
Of course I do. It's Bruce Danielson, and I guess I'm here to entertain you too.
City for 30 years to get as much time.
Is this
off
ready?
as
Do I need any other mics or anything?
Sounds good.
You guys ready?
You don't have a light, and mine are in the shop. Ron Peterson's taking care of it.
Good old Ron.
Yeah, he fixes it.
Yeah.
Our people, it's like, they don't fix anymore. They want to send it away.
Okay, so I think we'll get started. Can we shut that door maybe, just in case we don't have any background noise coming in? So I would like to welcome you today to my press conference addressing the appointment of Jason Reisdorfer to the IT position that the mayor announced on Tuesday. And I wanted to address my concerns about this situation. First of all, we came off of a mayor's race that was driven by topics of transparency, openness, accountability, integrity, and citizen representation. And I met personally with Paul Tenhagen during this time. We had great conversations about implementing these things as we move forward. And also we talked about the topic of having more of a partnership, collaborative attitude with all of our city council members. In preparation for this, I did ask the mayor for a breakdown of what the new position was going to pay. And I think it's important for the public to know what we're paying our employees, because this is the public's money and it is the public's business. And so the salary is going to be $147,576, and benefits at the low end will be 30% of that at $44,000 approximately. Could go higher. So the total compensation that we'll be paying this person, whether it's Jason Reisdorfer or someone else, is going to be $191,000 of taxpayer money. Let me also say that I enthusiastically supported the mayor's choice for our city attorney, Stacey Koistra. And he came into our midst with a clean slate, and Stacey exudes integrity, fairness, solid knowledge of the law, and a maturity and a demeanor that is, in my opinion, very admirable and fitting for our city attorney. I stated my feelings about Stacey Koistra publicly at our council meeting a few weeks ago before we voted to approve him. A word about Facebook. Many of my colleagues and the mayor do not allow citizens the opportunity to comment on their Facebook pages. I have a public Facebook page, but it's still my personal property. And I allow my over 3,300 friends to comment as long as they're respectful. And I don't tolerate belligerent or disrespectful comments on my page, or attacking for that matter. I feel that this IT position is so important for the integrity of information for the citizens and the entire city communication system that I'm very, very interested in who we put into this position. We need an IT director who is impartial and of the highest level of integrity. Our responsibility as council members is to ensure that we have the best person serving the citizens. And it is our right as council members and our responsibility to vet each candidate. This position needs a leader who is committed to citizen responsiveness, transparency, communication, and has a respectful approach to the public and to the council members. And I just want to say that this is similar to what they do when they're in Congress, when they are appointing the nominees for like the Supreme Court Justice. They have a chance to debate it, to vet it out, and it's just not a given that they're going to pass a certain candidate through. The IT director needs to have the greatest regard for all the citizens and giving them access and representation. And this person is going to be responsible for our CityLink channel, for all of our emails going out, for any kind of videotaping that we do. All of the mechanics of the technology is going to be in the lap of this individual who we hire for $190,000. I have had concerns about the resistance that Jason Reisdorfer displayed when we brought an ordinance developing district representation for the park board. We wanted to have this across the board, allowing all areas of our community to be represented. And Councilor Greg Neitzer, who's sitting here today, was a second signer with me on that ordinance. This ordinance would have given all parts of our community a place at the table. Jason was very opposed to allowing each area of our community to have a representative place on the park board. Instead, he chose to defend the closed status quo. So this is his action that he did. The IT director needs to be available and open to hearing from the public. After Jason and the park board voted against the ordinance requesting more citizens' representation, I made a formal request at the park board meeting to have all the park board members give me their contact information so I could let the public know how to contact them. Jason and the rest of the park board members refused. A track record. The IT director needs to be committed to transparency and accessibility. Jason and the rest of the park board have repeatedly refused to hold meetings in a place where they can be video recorded. The IT director needs to show professionalism for our community. Jason's demeanor on Facebook was less than that. And I'm not going to get into a tit for tat on Facebook, but we do need to be accountable for what we say, and he did call me a liar. And after that, I unfriended him, and he was angry about that. Although I had concerns about this attitude at the time coming from a park board member, I decided not to pursue it and just let it go. But now, with the proposal to put Jason in charge of all the communications that the public will get and pay him $190,000, I needed to step up and express my concerns. The IT director that we have needs to be open and transparent. Jason and the park board defended the secret selection committee's recommendation to kick the Dakota Golf Company to the curb. The community and the city council deserved at that time to have information that they used for this decision, and it was a very contentious issue for our community. And I was very vocal about the need for the public to know the details of this whole golf course transaction. The mayor's department and the park board refused to give us that information. When I stated concerns about the ongoing employment for the staff of Dakota Golf on Facebook, Jason attacked me at that time, and that's when he called me a liar. We have since experienced that the Dakota Golf manager, Tom Jansa, was not retained by the new golf company. So employment did not continue for him. So I just wanted to give you a little more background as to why I have reservations about this. I don't know who the other applicants were for the IT department. I think that would be nice to know. And again, it's our responsibility as council members to vet this out, to ask the questions, and so at this point I have many reservations. And that's what I have to say. I'm open for questions.
Is there anything that can be done or said that would get you to vote for him at this point?
At this point, I am planning to vote against this, and I'm planning to make these statements at the meeting as well.
What I'm saying is there any way this can be healed before then?
No, because it's Jason's track record, so I don't think there's it's not a matter of healing, it's just a matter of past behavior that has me concerned moving forward.
And then you are claiming that you believe he called you a liar when he said, I'll just read the comment. Weren't you sitting at the same meeting as me where the president of Landscapes Unlimited stated that they intended to keep Tom Jansa of Dakota Golf on as market manager and the rest of the staff for no less than 60 days? I believe you're supposed to be misleading, if not a flat-out lie. You believe that he's calling you a liar in that statement?
Yes.
Some of the statements made during that time period, since I was in on some of those meetings and heard some of the things that he was saying, that I was considering filing an ethics complaint against him because he was a member of a city board speaking ill of the city council and the administration in a very belligerent way. And I have been wondering if anybody has considered what the ethics rules are, because I think they're fairly clear about it, that he could have been taken to ethics board, and I'm wondering if that's something that you would consider even doing.
Well, we were told when we were elected that we have to be very careful how we reference other council members. And so I can't say that somebody is an SOB, or you just got to be careful with that verbiage. So I was wondering at the time with Jason, how that's handled when you're a board member. But again, if someone's acted this way and they're in this situation, I think that absolutely has to be considered as you're moving forward to putting them in a more important position. You know, there's a saying, he who is trustworthy in small matters will be given larger ones as well. And he who is not trustworthy in small matters will not be given larger ones. And so I'm just taking that all as a consideration in my vote to say I'm resoundingly approving this person.
As somebody who looks at all political appointments, no matter if it's state or local, and I always look at how active they've been in the community and actively concerned about being voters. And from my ability to check prior to January 1st of this year, Jason has only voted in one city election and going back to 2010, and that was for the event center. When he became a member of the Parks Board, he made statements about the only park he'd ever visited was Harmondon, and that was for baseball or softball. I had concerns about somebody being appointed to the Parks Board that didn't have any city experience. What do you think he's done anything since then?
Well,
do you know of anything?
Well, and again, I'm going to talk in a positive sense that I want someone in this IT position. I was so excited with Ted Hagan because he has a background in marketing, and I think he's as a younger person, he's well versed in the mechanics of technology. So I was just hoping he was going to bring someone fresh in, someone new, someone who had a real strong grounding in that. And I think our public deserves that because we want the best person to be making sure we have accessibility to meetings and to videos, they'll be handling our phone system, our email system, our record system, everything. So I think we need to have someone come in who's got a clean slate, no baggage involved, and so I'm hoping that we can revisit this thing and do the best thing for our community, for our citizens.
Do you know if there was actually any posting of the opening with the Human Relations Department?
I don't know anything about that, no.
Isn't this a political appointment? Can't you appoint whoever he wants, and you have to confirm?
Well, he appoints and then yes, we will be asked.
Well, there may not be any applicants. I mean, you
Well,
say,
and that, yeah, I don't know how Jason became the guy. I don't know. Once again, I'm kind of in the dark on this. And it's, I will compare it to the Questra, our city attorney's situation, where we had such a chance to vet this guy out, and he was so impressive. And he came from such an impressive background that I could just support him.
Did you find out how many applicants there were for the city attorney before Stacey?
No, I didn't.
That didn't.
And that didn't, I was so pleased with him that at that point I hadn't thought about who else was applying. And he was so extremely qualified.
It only takes a simple majority to confirm an appointment, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think this will, do you have support from your colleagues to resist this, or is this kind of
I cannot speak for my colleagues. What I can say is that we, in the past, from my remembrance, is that it's always just been a pass-through, like a rubber stamp. So this, I take it seriously when we're bringing in new department heads.
How sure are you that you can block people on your Facebook page? President Trump, I think, federal court told him last year that you could not mute or unfriend or otherwise delete comments from the public because he was now a public official, even though he had the account at real Donald Trump for years before he was president. So why would you be any different than the president in being able to delete or not?
Well, it's my personal Facebook page.
It was his
so-
personal Twitter account.
Oh, well, I'm just taking it as, until our city attorney tells me I thought that's my ability. Even Counselor Neitzer, he unfriended me. So, I mean, we have that happening all over the place. So if that's the case, we're gonna have, then does that mean we don't have we can't have Facebook unless we allow everybody to be our friend? Because I get requests from friends from people overseas, a lot of single guys for some reason, and I do it. And so people I've never heard of, and so does that mean you have to take anybody who wants
But
to?
you are a public official and you are subject to.
But there is on Facebook a little thing you can touch. If you want to go as a public official, I can touch that, and then it says Theresa Stehly, council member. Otherwise, I put things on about my gardening, about my family.
But also about city issues.
I do have some city issues too, yes. And I post a lot of media stories.
Have you learned any lessons in all this? At all? With
I'm
like
learning a
how-
lesson that I'm going to stand up for what I think is right, and I'm not just going to be a rubber stamp pass-through. And also, I'm willing to take the guff. I mean, if people don't like that I've got a problem, a concern with Jason, that's okay. But I think the citizens expect us to be the guardians of their best interest. And whether it comes to expenditures or approvals, we are the only thing standing between what happens and the citizens. So who else is going to be vetting this out if we don't?
Has the mayor addressed your concerns about Reisdorfer?
Has he addressed them? Well,
And how is he
as soon as I saw that, and we weren't given the information. I had to find out through the Argus Leader because we didn't get the press release. They apologized later that they didn't send it to us. But I called the mayor immediately and I told him that I had great concerns. And he was pleading with me just to go along with this. And I said, I can't. And so, and I have a great deal of respect for the mayor, but I'm not just going to go along with something that I don't think is right.
How much, going through all these things that you've gone through over the last few years with the Parks Board and with Jason, and that you would have an open mind to whatever he would be proposing in front of you or believing whatever he would say in front of you. How much does he have to prove himself that he can actually do the job?
Who?
He has no experience. Jason.
Well, I'm just very concerned with how his attitude in the past, like I said, about the Parks Board districting, bringing people into it from across our community. He was closed to that. They've been closed as a group to videotaping their meetings. They repeatedly, they don't want to have people there or they don't want documentation. So that attitude is problematic for me. I'd much rather have someone coming in who's supportive of the openness and the responsiveness in trying to help our citizens stay informed.
Wasn't that more the kind of the administration leading that group? Because since the change in administration, starting in 2019, Park Board's meetings will be held at Carnegie Town Hall, where there will be videotaped and there'll be a record. And the Park Board didn't put up a fight over that.
Well, but there again, it's so what? I mean, the people, that'd be like me saying, well, I'm on the council, I'm going along, because the mayor is telling me to do this now, and now we have a new mayor, so as a council member, I'll do this. I'm looking for people who are independent, who stand up and say this is the right thing to do. So was the park board saying these things because they're being told by the mayor to say it? What does that say about their integrity and their strength of character?
Well, he stood up to you,
Who?
Jason. on
Yeah,
your
well,
Facebook.
I get it, and he stood up, but he's standing up, the way the energy he was standing up with was, I'll go to the park board situation, that we don't need the people involved. What he was saying is, we're fine the way we are with our little closed group.
What do you tell people if they say, well, this just sounds like sour grapes from Councilor Stehly because he and the park board and apparently the majority of the council opposed
No, it
a
wasn't-
proposal that was very important to
But
you?
it wasn't a majority of the council, it was a 4-4 vote, and the mayor broke the tie. Well, but I'm
It was
saying
an
it,
8-0 decision.
no, it's not, because there was.
Still what was decided?
There was support from the community, and that issue will be revisited at some
So
point.
it's not sour grapes is what you're saying?
Oh, no, I mean, that would be to say it's sour grapes for me to stand up and question the integrity and the suitability of a person coming into a department head position, making $190,000.
Is that too much?
I think that's, for a lot of people, when you realize that, we're at base pay of $150,000 and then 30 to 40% more than that for benefits. I think our city officials are being well compensated. And a lot of people in our community are struggling just to make ends meet. So city government is alive and well as far as the financial support we give them, salaries and benefits. So it's my duty and my responsibility to be
Have you,
asking these questions.
have you reached out to Jason or tried to talk to him since his appointment?
No, I have not.
Would that be helpful?
No, it wouldn't, because I know what his track record is. So I would, I'm not going to, I know what his track record is, and I would not consider him as a candidate because of that.
Has he apologized to you?
No, he has not. And even if he did apologize to me, I mean, that's just, I'm looking for example, Stacy Koistra. He's got a fabulous background. He comes in, we can see how he's treated people in the past. And we know that sometimes the way you treat people in the past is the way you're going to treat people in the future. So that's why I just have a great concern about this position, having the best person involved. And once we confirm it, then it's really too late. Then it's done. Just like once you vote for somebody, once they get in office, they're in. So you've got to be very careful to vet this out beforehand. We had debates in the mayor's race, we had runoffs, we talked to people, and why would this appointment be any different?
Are you worried that, if he's confirmed, that your relationship with him is already muddled and you won't, your relationship with the brand new city department is already damaged?
I'm not elected to hold hands with department heads. If he's only going to behave well because I have a good relationship with him, then we're really in trouble. That they need to stand up to our scrutiny and do the right thing because we're hired to serve the people. So if my speaking out and questioning this and he still gets appointed happens, and he's going to start shutting the door on the public because of that, then we were really in trouble.
How about with the mayor? How's this affect your relationship?
Well, once
with him?
again, I'm not elected to hold hands with the mayor. I'm not going to be putting the interests of the citizens on the back seat while I try to make cozy with the mayor. This is about doing what's right for the people of Sioux Falls. And we're not in here to win a popularity contest. We're here to do what's right for the citizens. And we want someone in this position who has integrity, who's committed to transparency, who's committed to responsiveness, who's committed to the process. and who has a proven track record of that kind of behavior.
Do you think Mr. Reisdorfer is qualified for the position?
And that, we haven't even touched on that, but from his, I think there would be people out in the community or in the region or the nation who have great experience in IT and technology. And I expect we'll be hearing about his credentials on Tuesday night, when he'll get up to tell us why he's qualified, if not before. So, anything else?